A candidate's attitude to risk-taking is always of interest to a prospective employer. The first part of this video looks at what risk-taking means, why it is important, and then presents a couple of related interview questions along with model answers.
Risk-taking means being willing to make decisions or take actions that involve both potential benefits and potential downsides. In many jobs, especially in leadership, entrepreneurship, and innovation, this ability is important. In interviews, risk-related questions are used to see how you think and make decisions when the outcome isn't guaranteed. These questions often describe a situation involving uncertainty and ask how you would respond. They are especially common in roles where taking calculated risk is part of the job, such as entrepreneurship or investment analysis. Overall, employers use these questions to understand whether you can handle uncertainty, weigh options carefully, manage possible negative outcomes, and recognize when taking a risk can lead to progress or competitive advantage.
Let's focus on a couple of related questions that interviewers may ask.
How do you assess and manage risks in your work?
A candidate gives 3 answers.
I believe in proactive risk management. I always try to anticipate potential challenges and develop contingency plans. For instance, when leading a project in my previous role, I identified a risk related to a key supplier potentially missing their delivery date. I developed a backup plan involving an alternative supplier, which we ended up needing to use. This proactive approach helped us keep the project on track. I use a systematic approach to risk management, which involves identifying potential risks, assessing their impact, and developing mitigation strategies. For example, in my last role, I identified a risk related to data security. I assessed the potential impact, which could have been significant, and implemented additional security measures to mitigate this risk. I ensure risks are managed by incorporating risk assessment into the planning stages of any project. I consider what could go wrong, how likely it is, and what the impact would be. Then, I develop strategies to mitigate these risks. In one project, this approach helped us to avoid a potential delay and complete the project on time.
What do you think of these answers?
Recall a time when you took a calculated risk and what the outcome was. The candidate gives 3 answers.
In my previous role, I noticed an opportunity to enter a new market segment. It was a risk because it involved investing significant resources with no guaranteed return. However, I believed in the potential of this market and proposed the idea to my team. We decided to take the risk, and it paid off. We were able to establish a strong presence in the new market segment. At my last job, I took a calculated risk by suggesting a complete overhaul of our outdated website. It was a risky move because it required a lot of time and resources, and there was a chance it wouldn't significantly impact our online presence. However, after the revamp, our web traffic increased by 50%, leading to increased brand visibility and customer engagement. Early in my career, I took a risk by accepting a job in a field I was interested in, but had little experience in. It was a challenging transition, but I was committed to learning and growing in this new field. This risk ultimately paid off as I gained valuable skills and experiences that have significantly contributed to my career growth.
What do you think of these answers?
The candidate's commercial awareness is always of interest to a prospective employer. The second part of this video looks at what commercial awareness is, why it is important, and then presents a couple of related interview questions along with model answers.
Commercial awareness means understanding how businesses and industries work, what affects the market, what competitors are doing, and how these factors influence the organization you're applying to. In interviews, commercial awareness questions test whether you can understand the wider business environment and make sensible, informed decisions. Employers want to see that you can think strategically, recognize what drives business success, and understand how your role fits into the bigger picture. These questions often ask about recent industry news, how certain trends might affect the company, or what makes the organization different from its competitors. They are especially common in roles where knowing the market is important, such as business development or strategy.
Let's focus on a couple of related questions that interviewers may ask.
How do you stay informed about industry news and trends?
A candidate gives 3 answers.
I regularly read industry-specific publications such as X and Y, and I follow several relevant blogs and podcasts. Recently, I've been learning about the trend of AI in our industry, which I believe could have significant implications for our work. I make it a point to attend industry conferences and webinars whenever possible. These events are a great source of information about the latest trends and innovations. For example, at a recent conference, I learned about a new development in our field. Networking is a key part of how I stay updated. I'm part of several professional groups on platforms like LinkedIn, where we share and discuss the latest news and trends. Recently, the group has been discussing which I think could be a game changer in our industry.
What do you think of these answers?
Describe a time when your understanding of the market significantly influenced a business decision. The candidate gives 3 answers.
In my previous role as a product manager, I noticed a growing trend in the market towards sustainable products. Based on this insight, I proposed a shift in our product development to focus more on sustainability. This decision led to the successful launch of a new product line that was well received by our customers. As a marketing manager, I kept a close eye on market trends and competitor activities. I noticed a gap in the market for a particular service that our competitors were not offering. I proposed that we fill this gap, which led to a significant increase in our market share. In my role as a sales manager, I realized that our target market was increasingly using social media platforms. I used this understanding to shift our advertising strategy towards these platforms. This decision resulted in a significant increase in our customer engagement and sales.
What do you think of these answers?
Which are the best answers? What makes them good? Which would an interviewer like most? How could you adapt them to your own situation? How would you answer the questions? Leave your comments below.
Visit the channel homepage below. Here at JIQ, we want to develop a bank of real-world interview answers. We want to move beyond the AI voices you've been listening to. We want to hear your voice. We invite and challenge you to record your own answers to the questions in this video and send them to us. If interested, check out the link to video collection terms for details. All submissions are welcome. Clicking on the Send Your Video link takes you to this Dropbox uplink. Add your video, send it in and we'll deal with the rest. Clicking on the third link, View eBook, takes you to the Amazon page for our Kindle title, Job Interview Preparation, Topics, Tips and Model Answers. Check it out. Become your best interview self. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. And good luck in your interview.